it's me, Elena, with ElenaOdessa.com. I am a poet, author of Slow Running Honey, transformational speaker, and soul prosperity coach to Christian women who are ready to give themselves permission to bloom into being fully expressed, fulfilled, and free to manifest their heart's desires and become the woman of their dreams. I am so excited about what I have to share with you today. Welcome to the Born Again Women in Bloom show, by the way. And I am really excited about what I have to share with you today because it is in reference to perfectionism. If you are a woman who has ever dealt with perfectionism, or it's been rumored that you deal with perfectionism, or if you've ever wondered whether or not you deal with perfectionism, because that traditional definition or description of around perfectionism of just wanting everything to be perfect all the time, and just being a micromanager of everything and everybody around you doesn't quite seem to fit you, and so you've kind of wondered if you were a perfectionism or a perfectionist, then this video is really going to speak to you, because perfectionism has two major fruits that really aren't talked about. I haven't heard them talked about, and they are achievement addiction and performance paralysis. And both of these are really defense mechanisms. They're defense mechanisms that we put in place to protect the identity that is being controlled by that spirit or affected by that spirit of perfectionism. And so the identity around the achievement addicted person says that I am someone who has to do things well to be accepted. That's really a driver for them. They're really glued to that identity that as long as I keep it moving, as long as I keep achieving, and as long as I'm doing the best and I have an audience to support me in that, then I will be included, I will be accepted, and I'll be liked and loved. And so those with this fruit, they tend to be very gifted people. They tend to be go-getters, and they tend to have a lot of stamina and a lot of energy. And so they are easily pushed into action. They're easily driven by action because it's where they feel the most celebrated, and it's where they felt the most celebrated often as children. And so the achievement addicted person, they really have to, they have to stay in constant action, because again, they associate not having the audience with punishment. They associate not having that applause with punishment. They feel bad about themselves without that audience. And so they keep it moving all the time. Well, the opposite of that is the identity that is driven by the performance paralyzed person. And this person says, I can't do anything right. And because their core belief is, that they're going to be ridiculed and punished or nitpicked, it's difficult for them to get into action. And when they do get into action, they struggle with follow through. And so those who suffer from this fruit of performance paralysis, they're really gifted people too, but they tend to be slower producers and tend to be people who has experienced a lot of criticism, a lot of comparison when they were young. And the performance paralyzed person is, again, they're opposite from the achievement addicted person. As far as the audience goes, they're not seeking the audience. What they're seeking is to avoid the presence of onlookers, because they associate that with punishment. They associate having the audience with hearing that they're bad, or just being nitpicked or criticized or questioned about what it is that they're doing. One of the quickest ways, and I know because I am a recovering performance paralysis person, one of the quickest ways to shut this person down is to ask them, what is it that they're doing? Why'd you do that way? Why are you doing that? Because they tend to hear criticism in that, whether or not that criticism is really there. And so you can probably see how both of these two fruits of perfectionism can really get in the way of you manifesting your heart's desires and becoming the woman of your dreams. And so, this is why this is so near and dear to me, because there's the one that has you all tied up in people pleasing and just performance, and the other one has you all tied up in knots with the lack of performance. So if either one of these are you, what do? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because the thing to do is to ask yourself the question that positions you to weigh the cost. It positions you to, really decide whether or not the reward of those behaviors are worth the astronomical cost of being involved in those behaviors. And so, this is a really good place to reiterate that the behavior is born of belief. It's not you. It's a part of the personality that you've adapted so far. It's a product of your behavior, and it stems from the belief, from that continued thought. But it is not one of your God-given personality traits. And so you're not stuck in performance paralysis, and you're not stuck in achievement addiction. And I just wanted to point that out. And so as we look at the cost, what is the cost here? What's on the line here? Well, what's on the line is authentic expression. That's what it's costing you. That's what either of these two fruits is costing you. The you that God created you to be, and what He created you to do and have and express and share in the world. So for the achievement addicted person, how can you possibly achieve actively cultivating your God-made self? How can you truly be following the heart of your desires if you're stuck on performing and chasing the applause and the approval of others all the time? I mean, you can't. That need for approval and applause, it's going to be the defining factor inside you. It's going to be the thing that's driving you in your heart. It's going to be your manipulator. It's going to be the thing that causes you to manipulate yourself into doing what they want you to do and what they desire for you to be doing. And also, you can't be cultivating your God-made self if you're the performance paralysis person, because you're stuck somewhere hiding out. You're stuck somewhere living in the shadows because you fear other people's judgment and their opinions about you and about your work. And so, as I said before, this is really, the performance paralysis, it's really been my chief struggle. For years, any opinion, whether the opinion was good or bad, it would just shut me down. If you said that what I had done was good, it was like I would check out because I had this limiting belief. I had this fear that said that I couldn't keep it up, that I could not maintain that. And if you saw that there was a problem there, then, you can pretty much guess why that would shut me down. And so for the performance paralysis person and the achievement addicted person, it's time to take back the power. It's time to take back the essence and take back your authentic desires, because God has truly given you the permission to be who it is that He created you to be. It is time to participate in life in a way that is meaningful to you, not the way that you think it should be, not the thing that you think you should be doing or support in how others think that you should be doing it, but what is it that you want? And so here's a coaching question. If you are the achievement addicted person, the coaching question for you would be, would you be willing to get off the constant treadmill and turn your back on the audience long enough to uncover what matters to you, if you believed that your joy, your peace, and your total commitment would come out of it? So the question is, would you be willing to get off the constant treadmill and turn your back on the audience long enough to uncover what matters to you, if you believed that your joy, your peace, and your total fulfillment would come out of it? And listen, I know that this may not sound good to you. And so I want you to know that it doesn't mean that you would be living your life completely without the audience forever. I know that that's important to you, and so that's not what this is about. It doesn't mean that. What it means is that the audience wouldn't just be watching you perform. They would be experiencing you as the woman who is true to her soul, to the woman that is doing things for herself, for her God-made self, and performing out of that place, or producing out of that place. And so the performance paralyzed person, the coaching question for you is, would you be willing to face your fear of not being good enough, long enough to cultivate your voice, your gifts, and your talents into the powerhouse that God created you to be by them, if you believed that your joy, your peace, and your total fulfillment would come out of that? Would you be willing to face your fear of not being good enough, long enough, to cultivate your voice, your gifts, and your talents into the powerhouse that God created you to be by them, if you believed that your joy, your peace, and your total fulfillment could come out of it. Now, I know that those are not baby coaching questions right there. You know, them some grown tail woman questions right there. And the thing is that you can handle it. You're so much stronger than you think you are. You can handle so much more than you might believe that you can handle. You know, you have the courage to cover the ground that your answers to those questions will lead you to. Because all courage is this. It's acknowledging what matters to you, and it is being willing to stand for it. That's it. That's all courage is. And then there's some good news up under that. The gospel is this, that you have a Lord, you have a Savior who is living on the inside of you, who both understands and intercedes on your behalf. He's already conquered the darkness. He's already committed to being a lamp unto your feet. And you know that. You've experienced that before. So don't continue to waste your time waiting for it to all get better than that. Because it doesn't. It's not going to get better than that. You have everything you need. Everything you need. And so I hope this helps. I really hope this helps. And I ask you to please subscribe to this channel. And if you have enjoyed this video, then bless somebody with it by sharing it. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your questions down below. And if you would like to coach with me one-on-one, if you would like to grab an autographed copy of Slow Running Honey, the book that I've written, or if you would like to book me as a speaker for your next event, then I invite you to visit www.elenaodessa.com. I love you. I am pulling for you. I am praying for you. And I'm bidding you blessings and strength on your journey, beloved. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.